Did you know that every word you speak matters? Are your conversations making a difference? With a passion for words and a heart for conversation, Teresa Velardi is a self-professed word nerd, best-selling author, BizCat 360 columnist, and publisher. Children's books as well as fiction and nonfiction books are welcomed at We Be Books Publishing and Book Endeavors, the imprints of her company, Authentic Endeavors Publishing. Whether written or spoken, Teresa strives to encourage and inspire meaningful conversations that make a difference. Here's the host of Conversations That Make a Difference, Teresa Velardi.
Hey everyone, and welcome to Conversations That Make a Difference. I just want to remind you that we are on every Tuesday, 5 a.m. and 5 p.m. with live call-in shows. The first and third Tuesday of every month on syndicated Dream Vision 7 radio network, where you can listen online, mobile, in cars, on YouTube, and by asking Alexa, play Dream Vision 7 radio. And you can hear me on all those different ways. So today, I'm really happy to bring some really excellent authors for children's books. Now, we titled this show The ABCs of Children's Books, and part of the reason is because every single one of these books teaches children the alphabet while it teaches them other lessons in life. And I'm going to let the authors talk about that. But as many of you know, I like to start with a short prayer before we begin. And I use the Serenity Prayer. It's universal. So let's just say this together. God, grant me the serenity to accept the things I cannot change, the courage to change the things I can, and the wisdom to know the difference. And I also want to say that today we are all fabulous, blessed, and highly favored while living in our greatness, using our God-given gifts and talents with passion and purpose, and we are making a difference in the lives of others. And all of God's great universe is conspiring in our favor. And it is with great gratitude that we all say, amen.
Amen.
Amen. Amen. So let me give you a little bit of bio on each one of our authors today. And we will start with Jane McCarter-Caponigro. She's a native New Yorker. She was a board member of the PTA and an active volunteer in her children's school. And Jane saw a need for her book, Yes, I Am, A to Z, believing that although every child is different, none should ever feel less than. And she wants every child to recognize their abilities and value. Jane's greatest desire is to be positively changing the lives of children. Found in her first book, and invites conversation between the adult and the child to share their points of view. And Jane encourages curiosity and celebration on both sides of the conversation through the reading of her books. You can find more about Jane on yeschildrensbooks.com. We'll go over to Kenyatta Obi. Is a native of Atlanta, Georgia, where she's raising her son. Her college major in child development led her to a career as a teacher, both in mainstream, and special needs development. Kenyatta's journey has fueled her passion for developing the minds of young children by encouraging them to fall in love with reading at a very early age. Her book, Goose Farm Adventure, and actually she has another one, Squirrely and Goose and the Baseball Glove Adventure. Teaches her Goose Farm Adventure is the first in the series of books that Kenyatta plans to bring to the world of early childhood learning. And this teaches ABCs as well as some other lessons, which I'm going to let her talk about. You can find out more about Kenyatta at sillygooselearning.com. And then we have Dr. Melvyn and Marilyn Wolk. They live in Scranton, Pennsylvania. Well, they live in Clark Summit, Pennsylvania. They're my neighbors down the block. And Dr. Wolk, who was a pediatrician, he had a pediatric practice, which he then became a board certified allergy and immunologist. And he served as Chief of Pediatrics at the Community Medical Center in Scranton for more than 25 years, where he established the first Neonatal Intensive Care Unit in the area. And because parents needed to be close to their children, he established the Ronald McDonald House of Scranton, the house that Love built, with the help of Carol and Albert Mueller. Marilyn is the co-author of their book, The Illphabet, and she has been happily married to Dr. Wolk for 61 years. Isn't that something else? And their love story is amazing. I've heard it. It's amazing. So she served as his office manager throughout his practice, and together they are the parents of 3 children, 8 grandchildren, and 2 great-grandchildren. Welcome, everyone. I'm so glad to have you here.
Thank you.
You're welcome. So, Dr. Wolk, I'm going to go to you first. Are you unmuted? Are you unmuted? I can't hear you. Okay, so let's let you get that figured out there. And I am going to actually go over to Jane. We'll start with you.
Okay.
Okay, so Jane, what inspired you to write this book besides what I just said about your passion for children and being confident about who they are?
First, I'd like to say thank you for inviting me. I feel very blessed. This book means a lot to me. Someone very dear to me struggled in school from preschool all the way up to high school. Had IEPs. I'm not sure if everyone knows what that is. It's for a child with special needs. They have extra help. They either get pulled in to special classes out of the mainstream, or they have push-ins where teachers actually will push into the class to help them. And this child always felt less than, no matter what. It was very hard for them to grasp. They just learned in a different way. And their sibling was the total opposite. And I just felt that no child should ever feel less than. You don't all have to look like Barbie doll to be beautiful. We don't all have to be the football star to be athletic. And I just wanted every child to welcome their gifts that they have and to show it. And not to feel less than because you don't look like Barbie. You're still beautiful in your own way. And then the book, so it will say here, Teresa's showing it, amazing, okay? So it's meant to be read with a guardian, a parent, a sibling, an aunt, somebody, and then they ask questions to reinforce amazing, to show that they are amazing. So if it's a parent, like they could say, do you remember what you did that was so amazing for mommy? They might not understand. You could tell a child you're amazing, but do they understand what the word amazing really is? So when you reinforce it to them, they could, oh, I am amazing. And then for the younger children, it will say for B, can you find the butterfly? So B, butterfly, they'll look for the butterfly in the page because they might not know what beautiful really means at a year old. But it's just to build their confidence, self-esteem, and never feel less than.
Yeah, and every single one of these letters of the alphabet has something that brings a positive word. So that your full title is Yes, I Am A to Z, Positive Thoughts to Empower Young Minds. And I think this is really, really important in today's day and age, especially when, there's a lot of instances of bullying and that sort of thing. And this really helps children to step in to who they actually are and the gifts that they actually have. And I love what you said about, a couple of times you said it, you don't have to be Barbie to be beautiful. And I just love how each one of these images in this book has a diversity in it. You've got the child in the wheelchair, the child with the glasses and the braces, the child of a different color than the other two, and it's throughout the entire book. You have every ethnicity represented in here, and everything is positive for children to be able to see that they too, whether they know it or not, they too are amazing, beautiful,
Correct.
capable. Yeah.
Right.
All the way through, A to Z. Yeah. So thanks, Jane.
Thank you, Teresa.
You're welcome. And Rachel, our producer, Dr. Wolk is having an issue. They can't hear anything and we can't hear them. So maybe you can, I don't know if you can work on that, but I'm trying to see if I can help them with that. In the meanwhile, let's talk to Kenyatta. Kenyatta, how are you, girl?
Hi there. I
so
miss
good
you.
to see you.
It's good to see you. Hi, everybody else.
Hi.
So you wrote Goose, the Goose Farm Adventure. Tell me, what inspired you to do this book?
It's based off my son. He has been knowing his letter since about 8 or 9 months. He could point to them. He could not talk, but he could point to them. Mm-hmm. And his room has always been set up like a classroom. So coming from an educational background, literacy is just extremely important to me. So my children in my classroom actually inspired me to write the book. We were focused on letters, and I'm just like, how can I incorporate this with something that's educational other than lettering? So I came up with fruits and vegetables. So the book promotes healthy eating, your letters, friendship, problem solving, everything that any young child will deal with in their world is what this book focuses on. Right now, healthy eating is important in schools. So it also helps parents with feeding their children vegetables. They like fruit because it's sweet, but it incorporates vegetables. At the end, it talks about smoothies. So yeah, it's to promote literacy, but also, like I said, healthy eating habits. But since I wrote this book for my son, I have a niece and nephew that I also take care of. So my following books are about them. My second book is about my nephew, and the third book will be about my niece. So it's like a family situation.
Family adventure. Yeah, and I love the fact that you've got all of these different names. I mean, there are fruits in here that I didn't even know existed.
I know,
right?
We learned, see, as adults, we learned too, because I'm like, what's a Ziga fruit?
Right, exactly. And it looks like a watermelon. Here, look at this. Look at this. He's carrying, one is a watermelon and one is not. One is a Ziga fruit, right?
Mm-hmm.
Is that how you say it? Ziga.
Ziga fruit. Mm-hmm.
So, and it goes through making smoothies, and and this is also family oriented as well. Friends, family, and just like Jane's book, it brings in conversation about what they like, what they don't like, what they're willing to try, what they're not. And I love the smoothie part in the end because it introduces your next character, right?
Yes, that's right.
Yeah.
Squirrely.
A little bit about him.
Yes, so Squirrely is a mess by accident. The second book is mostly for older children. Like my nephew is in the 4th grade. When I wrote it, he was in 3rd grade. And that's a tough time for children. They're not big kids, but they're not babies either. So they're just in this awkward stage. And he tries to do right, but no matter how much he tries to do right, he always seems to mess something up, even though he means well. Yeah. So that book is about accountability, again, friendship, being responsible, and just being aware. The second book is about that. Mm-hmm. I'm still writing the third one.
Yeah. And now we have Nosy Rosie.
Nosy Rosie.
And she is adorable. And I love that you did these books, because of children that are in your life, your son and your niece and nephew. And I've had the privilege of meeting these children on the screen when you and I have been talking, and they're so, so, so dear. It's crazy. And Rosie, she tells you like it is, right?
That's the most interesting one, that 3-year-old.
Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed. So awesome. And I can't wait for the next one to come out. One of the things that I want to say about these ABC books is that there's also a reason why I call this the ABCs of children's books, because authorship builds confidence, not only in you as an author, as a writer, but in the children who read the books. So would you say that's true, Kenyetta?
I agree.
Yeah.
I think so. Like when I wrote the books, it was good for me. I finally completed what I set out to do, but it was also good for the children because they had their own book. I got to read at my son's school. I got to read at my nephew's school. So they felt like miniature celebrities.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Awesome. Well, and you're a celebrity too, because there's 3 ways to be a celebrity in this country, and it's actor, athlete, and author. So you're all celebrities. Did you know that? Dr. Wolk, did you know you're a celebrity? Can you hear me? I can't believe he doesn't have the, can you hear me, Dr. Wolk? Marilyn?
Let me interrupt. They were on a smartphone, I believe, and the smartphone, when they got a phone call, mutes their Zoom. I sent them a message. I sent you a text. They're probably going to shut off and come back on in order to get they'll work.
Okay, let me tell them. Go out and come back in. Okay. And while they do that, let's go back and talk to Jane a little bit. And did Marilyn see that? I hope so. Oh my goodness. All right. So let's go back to Jane. Jane, talk to me about what's next and what you have going on. I know that you're talking to a variety of different places in order to be able to go in and do some readings with your book. And what else do you have going on?
Well, I'd like to just give a little bit of feedback with some of the people that have purchased the book and have been reading it with their children. I'm blessed that some of them send me videos or pictures, and people I don't even know are sending it to me. Yeah. And this one woman said that she has 4 children, and to make time with each child, they do a letter a night, and she spends 15 minutes with each child, and they go over a letter a night. And her children are getting so excited, they actually will run off the bus and be like, can we please do the next letter now? So she sent me that video, and I just loved it to death. I'm going, hopefully, Barnes and Nobles with this COVID. They got to see if it's approved. I could do a signing and a reading in Barnes and Nobles. The local library yesterday is trying to do something as well, where I could go there and read to the children. Also in the local school district for the whole county, the woman that approves all the books, it's in front of her now. So if she approves it, it could go into all the schools in my county, which is great, right? But yes, I'm very excited the way that the children are responding to the book. I have one that's less than a year old, and they'll put 15 books in front of her, and they sent me a video. She always chooses my book. I got to say, my illustrator, you could be an author, but without the pictures, your book could be flat.
Yeah.
And Aljon I found him, and I can't say how blessed I am that he did my illustrations, because he made my thoughts, my words come to life. And that's what's a drawing, like you, Kiana, where we have young children reading these books, and the colors and the vibrancy is what they're gonna be drawn to, right? And then when you read it to them, or somebody reads them, then they understand the book, but they're looking at the cover first, right? And if they like what they see on the cover, they're gonna take it.
Well, Aljon has been involved in all of these books. Dr. Wolk, can you hear me now? Can you hear me? They're having difficulty. I can't believe it. Let me just say this about Dr. Wolk and Marilyn. Their book is the Illphabet. It's the ABCs that helps children. It's health education for children, ABCs of illness and health education. I'm a little upset that they can't find their way in here, but let me just talk a little bit about this. This book was actually written a number of years ago, and Dr. Wolk didn't have somebody to publish it. So he gave me the pages that he had, and this was not originally colored when he gave it to me, and I sent this to Aljon, and we went ahead and colored the front, and on the inside, every letter stands for some childhood illness, like C is for coughing. C is for coughing. Goodness the noise. Chipmunks take medicine like good girls and boys, right? And they have this cute little thing. And then we had Aljon bring in, a conversation about the letters also. So every single word, every A to Z has something for the children to look at in terms of, the content of this book. And this is all animals. This is all animals. Jane, yours are all people. This is all animals. Kenyatta, yours are various animals as well, mostly with Goose being the prime character in here. And so every single one of them speaks to the alphabet, but also speaks to something different. Each one of you has something different. That's what I just love about this. It doesn't matter. An ABC book is not just an ABC book until you bring your personality and your touch to it, so that it touches so many different lives in so many different ways. We're going to go take a break right now, and we'll be back in a few minutes. In the meanwhile, we'll try and resolve the sound on Dr. Wolk and Marilyn's screen here. So we'll be right back.
What if dreams can diagnose your life? What if we can meet the love of our life in dreams? Join host Kat O'Keefe Canavis, the #1 internationally best-selling author of Dreams That Can Save Your Life, written with Duke University medical doctor Larry Burke. Dreaming Healing is where we'll explore dreams, research, and interpret dreams from you, the caller. Dreaming Healing shows can be heard every Tuesday at 9 a.m. and 9 p.m. Eastern, with live shows on the first and third evenings at 9 p.m. Eastern, 6 p.m. Pacific Time on syndicated Dream Vision 7 radio network. Come live your dreams out loud with Kat.
Are miracles real? Can you move from mayhem to miracles? 30 prominent authors say yes as they share their high fives and down lows of challenges, abuse, addiction, and love. Experience hope, the magic elixir of miracles, through the personal stories of New York Times bestselling authors James Redfield, Dr. Bernie Siegel, Sister Jenna, Reverend Temple Hayes, and many more. If you like bestsellers, chaos to clarity, and crappy to happy, you'll love crying and laughing through Mayhem to Miracles. Sacred Stories of Transformational Hope. Available now on Amazon and in bookstores worldwide.
Omega Institute, offering workshops, retreats, and online learning dedicated to awakening the best in the human spirit. For over 40 years, Omega has seen more than 1 million people come through its doors to grow, learn, and find a greater sense of purpose. With over 350 workshops to choose from, Omega offers something for everyone. Located in Rhinebeck, New York, just 90 miles north of New York City, Omega's natural environment and quiet pace allow for extraordinary experiences to unfold. Learn more at eomega.org or call 877-944-2002. Again, 877-944-2002.
This is Dream Vision 7 Radio Network, uniting mankind. with universal love. Our shows are created from the heart, bringing each listener to a place of divine enlightenment. Breathe, relax, and enjoy. Let life flow.
Hello.
Welcome back. And welcome,
Thank
Dr.
you.
Wolk and Marilyn. It's good to see you. Good to hear you.
Thank you. Thank you for having us.
You're welcome. I'm glad we got through that little glitch and you're able to talk with us. So I was just saying a little bit about the Illphabet, and I want you to tell us, how did this come about?
Well, it started out very not too long ago, when the executive director at the Ronald McDonald House asked me to come up with something that we can give to the hospitals, so that when children come in for illness or for any elective procedure, they would have something to give the children so that would entertain them. And I presented this idea to him about the Illphabet that was laying on a shelf for so many years and never had a chance to finish it. And this was a very good time to do it. And I presented it to my wife, and she thought it was a very good idea also. And the public should know that I founded the Ronald McDonald House along with Carol and Albert Mueller, who are local owners and operators of the local McDonald's. And so we went ahead and had this book published, thanks to you. And everybody seems to like it very much, especially we do.
Yeah, I know.
And
unlike the other books, this is a coloring and activity book. All these pages are designed to involve the child not only in the information that's here, but in the activity of coloring. Why did you decide to go with the coloring pages instead of coloring it out as the other books are?
Well, I thought it'd be an activity that children enjoy doing. Also, the fact that you have a letter that mentions an animal, and that's related to the particular illness. And you should also know that there are some conditions in there that don't relate to illness, but do relate to certain situations with children. For instance, the letter O. Letter O, I believe, if you look at it, has to do with the overweight. And that, of course, is not a sickness. Well, it could be, I guess, but the important thing is that there's a jingle or a rhyme that goes with it that makes it interesting for being read to the children, or if the child can read it himself and see that it's not a good idea to be overweight.
Ask me how I know about that.
No, sorry. Sorry, we want to stay on the air here.
It also makes it more fun to be interactive with their parents.
Yes.
To be able to color, to be able to have it read to them, to have word puzzles, to do things like that. It's not just, a storybook.
And it's not just illnesses either. That's the important thing. And the other thing that's important now is there's so much going on with this COVID business that the children are exposed to hearing about the situation of COVID and dying and death and all that material that's presented to them. Understanding illness and diseases at this particular point might make it a little bit easier for them to understand what certain illnesses are, and maybe it's not so scary anymore.
Exactly. I was just going to say, this has been a scary time, and so this book speaks to a bunch of different ways that people are unwell or sick.
Right.
A rash is something that children get. I mean, just step into poison ivy patch and you experience something much different than what they're talking about on the news, but it's still something that a child has to deal with. So I think every one of your illustrations, your rhymes, your Seussical rhymes that you have on there. Do you have a favorite one, Marilyn?
I kind of like the kangaroo kisses.
Yeah, the kangaroo kisses. I
That's
have
my
that page
favorite.
open too.
Right.
So yeah, it just makes it easier for children to learn in rhyme as well. It's something that, a different aspect of the ABCs. What I love about this group of people here, the Wolks and Jane and Kenyetta, of course, all of you have approached something that impassions you in a way that you can involve the children in the conversation and the activities. Each one of these books, the Illphabet is all coloring and activity pages, but each of the other books also has coloring and activity pages in them as well. So the children get involved in visual, audio learning, and kinesthetic learning. So they get a chance to color the pages too. So I think that they're all really well done and a great gift for the holidays, for Christmas or Hanukkah. And so if you're watching on YouTube, in the chat, I know that links have been put there for each of your books for people to go to Amazon and purchase them. They will get them especially if you have a speedy delivery system like Amazon Prime. You can get the books in plenty of time to make it a holiday gift. Kenyetta, talk to me about what's next for you besides Nosy Rosie. What do you have going on to bring your books to the community?
Well, first and foremost, I need to finish Nosy Rosie. She's such a complex child. I keep changing the script. She changes every day. So my plans are to finish the book for sure. And once I finish the book, I plan on revamping my whole site and doing a bundle deal, because right now I'm selling the books individually. So I didn't want to start the bundle situation until I had all three together. I'm waiting for certain bookstores to open back up here so that I can do readings, because here a lot of the children bookstores are still closed due to COVID. And I can't do anything, but I am still reading to my all my children on Tuesdays and Thursdays online.
That's awesome. That's awesome. Yeah, the beauty is, this platform right here, we don't all have to be in the studio together. We can be in the online studio together and have the capability of doing something like reading a book. I know that, it's great to be with the kids and have a conversation with them without having to wait for the first person to stop talking before the next person does. Because I can see, especially at the end of Goose, when those smoothies go flying, I could see what that would be like in a classroom for the kids, right? I can see it.
Yes, very exciting.
Yes, very excited. So, and Dr. Mel, you have something going on for all these people that are local to Scranton, Clark Summit, Tunkhannock, Lackawanna County, Luzerne County, and Scranton. What do you have going on this weekend coming?
Well, this Saturday at the marketplace on the second floor is the Library Express, and we're going to have a sale and a signing of the books starting at 10 to 1, and then, excuse me, we're going to rush up to the gathering place in Clark Summit from 2 to 4 on the same day to have a sale and a signing. So we're going to be very, very busy. And it's a very different.
Sleigh you up there. Santa's going to take you up there on his sled, right?
Right.
Well, anything will do. The problem, though, is if you're up to date on the COVID situation, though, it seems like children are being more affected at this particular time. So I certainly would love to make sure that parents and children wear masks attend any of these functions by any of the authors who are here today.
Let me introduce you to the pediatrician in the room.
Retired pediatrician, but I still
Retired
get asked a lot of
pediatrician.
questions.
Right. But
Yes. Marilyn, how does it feel to be a part of such a big project with Mel? I know you had a lot to do with the rhymes and the content of the book. How does all this feel to you after 61 years of marriage? Now I'm going to say he's going on tour, as given the day that you're having on Saturday.
we've always worked together. I worked in the office for all the years that we were married, and this is nothing new for me. He's a wonderful guy to live with, and he's a wonderful guy to work with, and the project was fun. It wasn't our first book by any means. We worked on The Sneezing, Wheezing Santa, which was a fun book to work on. I love words. He loves pictures. He's a great idea guy. And so together, it was a fun project. And I hope everybody finds it as fun to look at and to work on as we found it to put together. So,
Do you see something else happening in the future after this with these books?
You never know. You never know.
Well, Dr. Wolk, you're quite an artist yourself. You've got some artwork and you've done some one-person shows and you are a photographer. And what other arts do you bring out into the world from your ever so talented self?
Well, thank you. Thank you so much. I really enjoy going through junkyards and going through a lot of different antique places and try and find different objects in the going through these places and picking up strange pieces that make sort of a abstract formation. And it provides me with a lot of stimulation. And I love photographing. As a matter of fact, this past week, we were out photographing the waterfalls, and especially this year, since this past summer, we had so much rain. There's so many more waterfalls that exist in this region that people don't know about, that are so beautiful and full flowing. And people should really get out and see these waterfalls.
Yeah.
And the Gathering Place also has one of the rooms at the Gathering Place has a small art exhibit of his going on at the same time.
That's awesome. That's awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah. Thanks for keep creating. Now you have a website for your artwork, and hopefully you're going to be adding your books to that website. And what is it? So you tell people what the website is.
It's melwolkstudio.com.
Awesome. Awesome. Jane, want to come and go to the book signing this weekend? She's in New York.
Only 2 hours away.
Yeah, to fly up. We'll have a party. So Jane, I know that you're working really hard on getting your next book together, and that you've got a lot of things going on right now in the holidays. Jane, you have 2 children in college now. God bless you.
Yes, thank you. Thank you. I would like to do like you can. I would like to have a 3-book series on positive enforcement for children. So I'm working on the 2nd, and then hopefully by the end of next year, I'll have all 3 together and get them out there. I just feel that in today's world, children are just so confused, from children in nursery school up to college students. This world is just very different. My daughter's graduating college this year, and all that hard work that she's done, am I going to find a job? Am I going to be able to? So everything is just not the norm right now. Dr. Wolk, my daughter is going to school to be a nurse and maybe a pediatric nurse or an anesthesiologist nurse, either one. But she, you just don't know with today's world. My son has 2 more years before he graduates, or three more years. And again, uncertainty. One of the things I did want to mention, Dr. Wolk, I was very impressed about the Ronald McDonald house that you have done. Part of my proceeds with my book goes to St. Jude's. So I do try to help as well. We're trying, my friend and I, he actually had a meeting with St. Jude to promise them that we're going to raise $1 million for them. And we already got probably $250,000 raised for them. So hopefully my book will fly off the shelves and I could keep donating as well, but he's doing the most of the work. But yes, some of the proceeds from my book are going to St. Jude's to help children.
Yeah, that's so awesome.
Very
And you know what I
kind.
love about this group of people is that you are all people who give back in your own way. Ronald McDonald House will benefit from the Illphabet, as Jane just said. She's going to help give benefits to St. Jude's Children's Hospitals. And Kenyatta, you're hands-on with the kids. You're hands-on with the kids, making, through the learning experience and keeping them well during this unprecedented time.
Teresa, if I may, Kenyatta, my son, okay, he didn't particularly like school, okay? He really didn't. And when he was graduating high school, when it was Teacher Appreciation Day, so at when a teacher has a child at a young age, they don't see what happens when they graduate high school, okay, with that child. And we are our school district's rather small, but I emailed all the teachers that made a difference in my son's. There was probably 6 of them. And I wrote that I saw when he left your classroom how you banged your head against the wall. I saw that at the lunch table, he was the talk of the table. But all your hard work that you don't see really did pay off. Because now my son's going to college and a pretty good school and a good degree he's going for. But he couldn't have done it without the support of his teachers. And I truly feel that sometimes teachers don't get the recognition that they should for what they do for children that you will never see because people don't let you know what happened.
Yeah.
But
With that, we're going to have to take another break and we'll be right back. Thanks so much.
Darkest hours to brightest moments, transformation from despair to happiness, and chaos to clarity. Real people, real pain, real healing. Life-threatening illness, death, abusive relationships, divorce, and overcoming addiction are challenges these men and women faced head-on. See how they emerged stronger and happier. Buy the new book, Chaos to Clarity, Sacred Stories of Transformational Change by Reverend Patricia Caginello and Kathleen O'Keefe Canavas. Available on sacredstoriespublishing.com and worldwide through Amazon and other retailers.
In a world facing annihilation, a miraculous African nun rises to become the first female pope through a web of war, murder, and betrayal. Loved by some, hated by many, she becomes the deadly target of Islamic terrorists and her own cardinals as she introduces a new vision that will either save humanity or accelerate its destruction. 4 people must race against a nuclear holocaust. To learn her astonishing secret, Pope Annalisa is available at petercanova.com, Amazon, and other online booksellers and bookstores worldwide.
Did you know that every word you speak matters? What you say and how you say it can make or break a relationship or shift the outcome of any situation. Are your conversations making a difference? Faith in God, gratitude, authenticity, and giving are Teresa Velardi's heart. It's in this spirit that she's focused on making a difference in the lives she's blessed to touch. Conversations That Make a Difference is now on syndicated Dream Vision 7 radio network every Tuesday at 5 a.m. and 5 p.m. Eastern Time, with live call-in shows every first and third Tuesday at 5 p.m. Eastern.
Why are we here? How can we be happy? Questions asked from millennials to boomers. Crappy to happy. Sacred stories of transformational joy answers them using true stories of grit, grace, and love. James Redfield, author of The Celestine Prophecy, wrote in the foreword, "This book is a seminar about emerging truths and offers grounded solutions through the art of the comeback." Dr. Bernie Siegel, a contributing author, wrote, "Bodies die, but spirits and consciousness survive and recycle." So, grab some tissues, open your book, and prepare to cry and laugh till it heals. Crappy to Happy by Reverend Ariel Patricia and Kathleen O'Keefe Canavas. Available from Amazon, Barnes & Noble, and booksellers worldwide.
This is Dream Vision 7 Radio Network, uniting mankind with universal love. Our shows are created from the heart, bringing each listener to a place of divine enlightenment. Breathe, relax, and enjoy. Let life flow.
We're back again. And every time we come back from that break, when it says, let life flow, it just like makes me take a deep breath and say, all right, that's cool. I can do that. So, Kenyatta, I want to ask you, based on what Jane said just a few minutes ago, I know that you are an excellent teacher. And not only are you a teacher to your son and your niece and nephew, but you also touch a lot of other lives, young lives. And how do you feel about what she just said? Like that so many teachers get like not recognized for what they've contributed to this child's future. How does that make you feel? And how will being an author make that different for you?
I agree with that. I do think, but I think with smaller children, I don't think parents do it on purpose. You know, I think that life just goes on. I think like high school teachers come in on the tail end, but they receive all the credit, even though by the time they make it to high school, the foundation is already set. Mm-hmm. So I think that the high school teachers, not that they don't deserve it, but they get credit for something that is already instilled in children. Yeah. Sometimes you get it from some parents, sometimes you don't. I have kids that are in high school now that I still keep up with, that I knew when they were really little. But it falls through the cracks. Sometimes you do, sometimes you don't. But she's right. Like, we never get to see how they grow because your teacher is your mom away from home or your dad away from home. Like my son spends most of his day with his teacher. She's uplifting him during the day, making sure he's confident. If he's crying, she's drying his tears, things that we don't get to see. We just get them when they come home for a couple hours and they're off to bed and do it all over again until the weekend. So I am very appreciative of my son's teachers. And from a teacher to another teacher, I make sure to let them know that. I'm just like, I get it, I understand, I see you, because a lot of times it does go unnoticed. But like I said, I don't think that is a purposeful thing. It's just people are living their everyday lives. They get caught up into what it is that they're doing, that sometimes they, they forget to say thank you, or they forget to say, I appreciate this, or unless that child is extremely close to that teacher, then a parent may take notice then. But those tough teachers are the ones I personally feel that deserves the recognition, because those are the ones that push them when they need to be pushed.
Yeah.
So she's right.
And the difference between each of you and between you, especially as a teacher, Kenyatta, and other teachers, is you have something that, even though they're growing up, and yes, that the high school teachers may get all the credit, so to speak, you're laying the foundation for them to learn in a different way than other children may have not learned. Just by virtue of your book, you're leaving a legacy for the next generation. All of you are leaving a legacy. Dr. Wolk, you're leaving a legacy for several generations already, right? With great grandchildren in the loop here.
Yeah, but listen, doctoring has a lot to do with teaching also.
Yes.
And I agree with our two other guests there, that so often, in fact, very often, when the children reach a certain age, they feel that, well, I don't want to go to a pediatrician anymore. And you never really know what happens to them. And then all of a sudden, you might meet them when you're walking in the morning at the park, and this 30 or 40-year-old man or woman says, "Hey, Dr. Wolk, I remember you. You took care of me." And I say, "Well, what are you doing now?" And he says, "Well, you really taught me a few things. And I'm a pediatrician in, I don't know, in California or something." And it really makes you feel very good that you're able to do such a thing and stimulate children to become what they want to become, because you've inspired them in such a way. And many times I tell these adults who were patients of mine that I'm sorry I didn't recognize you without your diapers. So they kind of feel that's kind of funny.
We went to dinner, and there was somebody who actually recognized you as we were leaving. Right. So that was really interesting. What you say is absolutely true. And here's the key. It falls around the conversations that make a difference thing. That's why my show is called this, because every single thing that you bring to the table is making a difference in another person's life, or lives, or many lives, and leaving a legacy. You too, Jane, you've got a legacy for the with your book. Every time you put your name on the cover of a book, you're making a difference in somebody's life. Every time that book gets into the hands of a child, you're making a difference in that life. And so that's what I believe, this world is all about. Despite all the whatever is going on around you, whether it's at home, whether it's out in the world, whether it's because of medical issues, whether it's because of, bullying or whatever, these books are what this show is about, making a difference in the lives of others, and how we can do that with our conversations. And each one of these is a conversation. This is a conversation. Hey, you're pretty cool just the way you are. Hey, check this out. It's not so bad to go to the doctor. And guess what? Fruits and vegetables are awesome too. So I think that every one of you brings a conversation that makes a difference to the table, regardless of how old they are, how young they are, because these books are ageless. These books are ages. I'm going to get my own copy when I go get it signed by Dr. Wolk, and I'm going to color this whole book.
Good for you.
We only have a few minutes left. Do you believe this hour has gone by already? It's crazy. We get on here and next thing you know, it's almost an hour gone by. Kenyatta, how can people get in touch with you besides your website? You want to give that again? And let's talk about how they can reach you, and can they get the books on your website too?
Yes, you can get my books on my website, which is sillygooselearning.com. I also have an Instagram, which is also Silly Goose Learning. I have a Facebook, but it's in my name. It's under Kenyatta OB, but everything on there is pertaining to my book. So those are my 3 platforms that I have. And also, of course, Amazon. You can find my books there.
Right. And there are, just to remind you, everyone who's listening, there are the links in the YouTube chat for every one of these books. So you just click on the link, it'll take you directly to Amazon so you can get your copy. And every one of them is also on bookendeavors.com. They're all the books are there. You just click on them and there's a link that takes you to Amazon to get the books as well. So many different ways you can find Kenyatta's book, Jane's book, Dr. Wolk, and Marilyn's book. Jane, what about you? How can people get in touch with you?
My email, janechildrensbooks@gmail.com. We're working on my website right now. It's called yeschildrensbooks.com or Amazon, the same. You could purchase my books on Amazon.
Right, awesome. And what about you, Dr. Wolk? Besides the busy day that you have on Saturday, what's the way people can get in touch with you, get your books?
Well, they can certainly go to Amazon. That's the best, the easiest, and the fastest way to get the book. You can also get me on online. I have another username. It's Melly Mayer, MELLIEMAR at AOL.com. And then there's my website also. It's melwolkstudio.com.
Awesome. Great. Marilyn, are you the one?
So they can make a house. Go
ahead.
I was going to say they can make a house call instead of me. Can you believe I used to make house calls for $4?
I got to tell you, doctor, my children are 21 and 19, and they still go to their pediatrician, and the pediatrician is like, you got to start trying to get an adult doctor. And they're like, but we don't want to. We want to stay with you. Right. My children don't. The doctor's like, well, when you graduate college, you really need to go. And they're like, we'll stay with you.
Yeah.
You have very intelligent children.
Right.
Thank you.
Absolutely. Marilyn, anything you'd like to say? Marilyn, is there anything you'd like to say?
No, we hope that maybe after the book signing that maybe we can put some copies around at different venues to be sold. I'm not sure if that'll happen, but the Gathering Place may take some extra copies to sell.
Yeah.
The library.
They say
the Library Express.
Right. As all of you are learning, that the biggest part of writing the book, creating the book, is only 5% of the process. It takes work. It takes marketing. It takes conversations to get these things out there and change a lot of different lives. And unfortunately, our time is up. And I want to tell everybody, this was so great to have you here. Enjoy the holiday season. Talk about your books, get them out in the world, and anything I can do to support, you know where I am. And I want to thank everybody for this version of this issue of Conversations That Make a Difference is coming to a close. For those of you who I won't see beforehand, enjoy the holidays. We'll see you next time.
Thank you.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Thank you.
Tune in next
Good luck,
time for
everybody.
Conversations That Make a Difference
Yeah.
with host Teresa Velardi. Every Tuesday at 5 a.m. and 5 p.m. Eastern, with live call-in shows every first and third Tuesday on syndicated Dream Vision 7 radio network. Thank you for listening, and thank you to our producer Rachel and to our station owner Deborah Beauvais, working behind the scenes. Be sure to go to conversationsthatmakeadifference.com for your free gift. Make sure your conversations make a difference.
This is Dream Vision 7 Radio Network, uniting mankind with universal love. Our shows are created from the heart, bringing each listener to a place of divine enlightenment.